Hi, I'm Judy, sir. I'm just going to see where I'm sitting. Put my stuff down.
I'm Larry,
Hi.
network administrator.
Are you the tech guy?
Yes,
You're
I'm
the-
supporting for the meeting tonight.
Well, that's good. And then I guess you're the one that maybe will help with tech for us all around, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm the network administrator, but there's a couple of other guys, the tech support, Greg, and also Daniel.
Do you know, he said for me to bring some information. I guess I should just ask him when he comes. About my school. White House prep. Oh, wait. Is this my name here? I think. Yep, this is Judy's. Who else is going to be here? Let's see. Are these microphones?
Yes, I will turn them on,
Oh,
but
lovely.
they'll be muted. So when you speak, you just press the button.
With the round circle?
Yes.
Can I go this way?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Check, check, two, check, check. Check one, two. Check, check.
May not show up.
Dang it, they want to come and ask more questions. They're not
No.
going to just, they have to come.
Ah.
They have to make themselves known. You know what I mean? Why can't they just let it be? They have enough information. But the question, the biggest question that some of my other children have, like the 3-year-olds, will they be able to be in it again next year?
Got it. I'll just say we're going to get started in 20 minutes. Feel free to help yourself to cookies, some water, some coffee over
I thought so.
Well, my husband noticed that just this weekend, and I'm thinking it was like maybe like Snoopy. It was so funny. So I don't know where you want to start. I know what I'm don't worry, I'm not.
Well, good evening, everyone. In all of my time having to present to audiences, I've learned when there's that lull, that's the great time to start talking because everybody will be listening. Welcome to our preschool funding community forum. Can you hear me in the back? No? Kind of? I'll try to get a little bit louder. Maybe that'll help. Tonight, we have some information for you about preschool funding. And I just want to start with, this is cause for celebration. This is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the children here in Reddington, and we are thrilled to be talking with you tonight about the opportunity for all 3 and 4-year-olds to have free, really, preschool this year and expanding even in future years to offer it to more students throughout our township. So cause for celebration. Some of you want to clap. This is great, fantastic opportunity, but let me start because this was, as many of you might know, this was a monumental effort over the course course of the summer for us to go through the application process. And I'll first do some introductions, and I'll say I'm Jonathan Hart. I'm the superintendent here at Reddington Schools. But this was a team effort. The application and the approval process would not be possible without some of the people that are here in the audience, and certainly the people that are up front here. So I just want to introduce everyone so you know who behind the scenes has been working on this project and will continue to work on this project for the rest of the school year. So Jason Bohm is our business administrator. He's in charge of the money, right? So he's really important. You don't get $1.6 million from the state without a good BA. So thank Jason for all the work that he's done. Stacy Beagle is our director of pupil services, and she currently oversees our current preschool programs in the district. Dr. Anna Rosa, the principal at White House School, is here with us. She will be operating one of the preschools that's at White House School. Dr. Higgins couldn't be with us tonight, but many of you may know that preschool is currently operating over at White House School, so Dr. Higgins will also have preschool. And this could not be done without our partners. We have Lisa Berger from the assistant director from Berry Patch is here with us tonight. Judy Serra from White House Prep is here with us tonight. And Gina Nellison from Stanton Learning Center is also here with us tonight. So these fine people have put in tremendous effort from July to this point forward, and they might not know it, but they're going to put in even more effort from this point forward to get this off the ground. So let's thank our team because they've been fantastic. Thank you all. In addition, we have, because this is cause for celebration, I'll just say that I know that one of our Board of Education members has joined us online. Justina Ryan is online, who supports this program. We have 3 board members in person who are here with us. Jody Betterman, Carol Hampel, and Beth Fury are all in the back. This truly would not be possible unless the board said yes, and they said yes. So it's great that they're here. We have Jody, Carol, Beth, and Justina here with us listening to this information tonight. So thank you to the Board of Education for being here and supporting this tremendous initiative. So thank you. One more clap. So if you leave here with 2 things tonight, just 2. Hopefully it's more than that, but if it's just 2, it's these 2 things. 1, that this is certainly cause for celebration. That this is a tremendous opportunity for the students of Reddington, and the fine folks up here, the Board of Education, myself, we are all committed to making this work this year as best we possibly can, and we're planning on making it expanded even more for more students next year. So that's number 1, is that we want to celebrate, and this is a tremendous opportunity. Number 2, I don't know if I don't know where this saying came from, but I'm going to use it. The state has put us in a position, the Department of Education has put us in a position where literally the plane is flying with this program and we're building it as we're flying, which is certainly not the way you want to operate a program. You don't want to build and fly a plane at the same time, but we're in a position where we have to do just that. If we had it our way, we would have taken a year, if not more, to plan a rollout like this. We've got a matter of months, folks. We're building the plane as we fly. There will be turbulence. There will be. So just make sure you have your seatbelt on. Let's be safe about this. We're going to do the best we possibly can to make this program work for as many children as possible. But just know that we will work with you to make sure we figure this out together as we move forward. So a couple of brief things. We're going to do tonight three parts of our presentation. We will all present tonight for just a short snippet, about 20 minutes or so, give you an overview of the program. We want to leave time for Q&A. We want to answer all of your questions. If we can't answer them, we already have created an FAQ document. Jason has his computer with him. We will write down all of your questions. If we don't know the answer tonight, we'll find out and we'll make sure it gets added to the FAQ document. So we're going to give you info, we'll take your questions, and we'll leave some time at the end for us to just talk and mingle. Each one of the private providers have brought a little bit of information with them. You can meet some of the private providers. You can talk with me, or Jason, or Stacy, or Ann. So we'll leave some time at the end for informal conversation, eat some cookies, because I don't want to take them home. You should take them home, and that's our presentation for today. So here's what we know. The research is undeniable. Preschool is good for kids. That's why we're doing this. This is a huge program and a tremendous effort, but we know that the research tells us this is good for kids. Just recently, I was on a conference call with the Department of Education, and one of the folks from the DOE said, this is the intervention, early intervention. Early childhood education is the way you get students in school and socialized and pre-academic skills fast and thoroughly, and it prepares them for kindergarten, and preparation for kindergarten is preparation for first grade and second grade, and for school, and for college, and career, and for life. So we know the research says that preschool and early childhood education is critically important. And this fits with our strategic work. We believe here in the district in 3 goals: inquiry learning, which is early childhood learning, partnerships with our community providers, and social awareness. And we know that really great preschool programs embed social, emotional skills along with academic skills as well. So how we were funded, the Department of Education has had preschool education aid for about a decade, maybe a little over a decade now. And the goal of the Department of Education is to expand high quality preschool to all New Jersey 3 and 4-year-olds. When we filled out the application this year, and they were funded in priority order of the school district. And they were funded this way. Tier 1 districts were districts with 20% or more of free and reduced lunch students. Tier 2 districts were 15 to 19% free and reduced lunch students. Tier 3 was between 10 and 14, and Tier 4 was 10% or less. I highlighted that we're a Tier 3 district. We're between 10 to 14% free and reduced lunch. When I met with the Board of Education, Stacy, Jason, and I planned this application over the course of the summer. We honestly thought that we had a pretty slim chance of getting the funding. For one, because we're a Tier 3 district, and 2, we thought we asked for a lot with $1.6 million. We thought it was pretty slim that we would get it, but we're thrilled that we did. But this is how we were funded. Our application received points based off of the strength of our application. We heard from the Department of Ed that we had a great, very strong application, which was why we were funded. But also in falling into Tier 3 districts, we were given that priority order. So this is how we were funded. This comes in the form of preschool education aid. It's additional state aid from the Department of Education. Some folks use the term grant. It's not a grant. It's not money that's here and that eventually expires. It's money that is state aid that we are getting competitively as we are compared to other districts in terms of our tier, in terms of our application, but it's not a grant. We don't know that there's an expiration on this funding. It's additional state aid that our district has been provided. Our district locations, we are going to have 5 district locations this year. White House School and Three Bridges School, these are our in-district locations. And we've also partnered with 3 private providers, White House Prep, Berry Patch, and Stanton Learning Center. So these are the 5 locations. We're opening a total of 7 classrooms in these 5 locations. Maximum class size under the preschool funding is 15 students. So each one of these classrooms will hold a maximum of 15 students. We believe we will reach the max in all of the classrooms, which will give us an opportunity to serve about 105 students total will serve this year. We'll tell you a little bit more about our programs for next year. So how does your child become eligible and get to enroll in the program? So this first year, space is limited. We know that. We know that we have 105 seats. We purposefully did not write the application too big, too quick. Our thought was we wanted to make sure we started a little bit on the smaller side so that we can manage it and open it mid-year. A January opening is not ideal, but we wanted to make sure it was going to be manageable. Second, and it was just a hunch, a feeling of ours, was if we asked for too much too quickly, we thought that we would risk not getting funding, that the state wouldn't have the funding for us. So we thought it's better to get our foot in the door, start small, and make it bigger next year. And we think we were right because we got the funding. So space is limited, but there will be eligibility requirements. So first and foremost, your child must be 3 or 4 years of age on or before October 1st, 2023. This is consistent with our entrance age policy for kindergarten. Kindergarten students have to be 5 on or before October 1st. So your child must be 5 before, or sorry, excuse me, 3 or 4 before October 1st this year. Your child also has to be a resident of Reddington, just to make that clear. They have to live here in Reddington. The district sent out a parent survey hopefully you've answered it. If you haven't, we can show you where you can find the survey. It's on our website. We're going to use that survey as a guide. This will help us gather your input of where to best place your child based off of your physical address, transportation routes, whether or not your preschool child has a sibling at White House or Three Bridges, maybe they were twins, right? We want to gather all of that information and know that ahead of time so that we can make the best possible enrollment choices that we can. But we will also look to prioritize students that are on free and reduced lunch, students that are currently enrolled in one of our programs or a private provider, and students that are 4. And the remaining space that we'll have, we'll use a lottery in order to determine the next group of students that will get one of these 105 seats. So that's how we work with eligibility and enrollment. We have, as of this moment, about 165 students in our survey database. I have to go through cursory look. There are some folks that filled it out that maybe children may not be age eligible just yet, but I know that those folks are interested. There may be some students that are in there that might be duplicated. Maybe mom and dad both filled out the survey for one child, so we have to go in and clean up the data a little bit. But we know that we have some interest, and we'll be able to go through all of that to offer the 105 seats. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Beagle to talk about the program basic requirements. Please, if you have any questions, write them down. We'll all take questions toward the end of tonight. Stacy, I'll introduce you to talk about the program.
Super.
You can
So,
stay there. You're staying there.
no, I can see it. I got a big mouth. I can talk and I can project. So, you know, Dr. Hart had said how exciting this is. This is absolutely exciting. Dr. Hart said we're starting small. No, we are not starting small. We are going big time. Our district has received the most money possible.
Yeah.
Because we are not starting small. We are starting big, which is really exciting. So this is truly a group effort here. As far as the program, just the basic requirements, there's going to be some changes with our in-district programs. First of all, our district and our learning center providers, we must provide a 6-hour minimum day. This is required through the preschool expansion requirements. What this means is that we have half-day programs in district already. We have preschool disabled programs that are running on a half-day, and our general education preschool programs are running on a half-day. These programs will expand to a 6-hour day program change. Our private providers will be working with us so that we will be working on the same calendar. This means that the children who are going to the private providers will be working on the same schedule that we are, days on, days off. But in addition to that means that our preschool providers that we are working with, they are going to be off on the same day that our teachers are going to be off, so that we are going to be working together and providing PD. So the private providers will be working with us, PD opportunities with the district, which is a real big plus, because our providers, we're looking at our children that are going to our early learning centers as being part of this district. So we are truly a community. Look at me, like, hello, we're truly a community here working together, providing the instruction, the level of instruction, whether your child is going in district or at one of our early learning centers. Part of the requirements also is that our early learning centers need to be providing a curriculum that is state approved. Our district is working with creative curriculum. We adopted this program 14 years ago. 2 of our providers, Stanton Learning and Berry Patch, are working with creative curriculum, state approved. White House Prep is using Tools of the Mind. They have a complete program, trainers that are invested in this program. all falls underneath the requirements for a state-approved curriculum. All of the programs really focus on the needs of preschool children. So really, whether you're using tools of mind, creative curriculum, any of the other programs that are state approved, your child is still receiving the same core learning standards for early childhood learning. The other piece, when we're working with whether our in-district teachers or our teachers that are working at our learning centers, they are all going to be evaluated underneath the district evaluation tool. So Dr. DeRosa, myself, Dr. Higgins, we will be going out to these learning centers, observing the teachers alongside our directors at the early learning centers. Our early learning centers will also be trained underneath Dr. Moss, who is our district mentor with the teacher evaluation system. They will be trained underneath them. So we are all working together collaboratively to ensure that the teachers that are, whether in district or at our early learning centers, are meeting the standards that we require as a district. Good?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still going?
You're still
or you
going.
go- Oh, I'm still going.
You're on.
Oh,
You're still going. I can jump in if you need me to.
yeah,
It's better that you do this one.
thank you so much.
They like you better.
Yeah. So part of the preschool, the program, we also are required to do some in-district evaluations, so that together, whether or not the classrooms are in district or in our private providers, we are going to be looking at evaluating the program, not the teachers. That will be separate. We are going to be doing an early learning evaluation of the classroom. We are also through creative curriculum. There is also an assessment for our programs that we will be using twice a year. In addition, for our parents who are going to be registering the children, you are going to be requested to do an early, there's acronyms, but you are going to be requested to do a questionnaire that will provide us some information with what you see with your child. We will be looking at that and then doing some program evaluations and adjustments. So with overall the preschool, all of our preschools, there's a great deal of accountability in terms of evaluation of teachers, in terms of evaluation of overall program evaluation, and then taking a look at all of that data, as well as, which is not on here, part of the preschool expansion is also having a preschool parent, what is it?
Organization.
Thank you,
Yeah, the
advisory
committee.
group that we will be looking for, because parents have a voice in this. So that will also be part of our overall program evaluation that includes, again, district and our partnering early learning centers. Oh, I'm still going.
You are.
Holy moly. All right, okay, special education. So the preschool expansion is a general education initiative. We do have just special education programs within our district. So students that are that have IEPs that are in self-contained program, children that are in Mrs. Daughter's class, Mrs. Darenheim's class, Mrs. Kosey's class in the morning, that is a preschool disabled program that is a self-contained. Those programs will also go to a 6-hour day program. Those programs, though, also will remain at 3 Bridges. Our children that are in our integrated, that have an IEP but are in our general education program, will either be going to remaining at Three Bridges, or will be joining our White House School preschool programs. Services, related services, speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy are provided at both locations. One of the pushes for the state for our children that are in that general education preschool program is that related services are provided within the classroom. A concept, something that we have been doing previously, but that is going to be something that we are going to be encouraging for all of our students. That means that if your child needs speech services, your child needs occupational services, those services are going to be integrated within the classroom so that the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, the physical therapist will be working hand in hand with the teacher, with the paraprofessionals, providing those services for integration. Questions? Do we have questions or we're waiting?
Maybe
Were we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when there are questions.
Once I get going, don't
Yeah.
stop me, right? Like, hold me back.
I'm Jason, I'm the business administrator, so I'm in charge of everything that's pretty much non-educational. So if it's facilities, IT, transportation, food service, payroll, that's basically my job. I have an open door policy, so if you have questions, you can't get in touch with anyone, you can always email me and call me. I'll get back to you within like 48 hours. So some basic things I'll go over quickly. Transportation, will we be providing transportation? Yes. So we will have bus stops, just like kindergarten, just like first grade, just like second grade. We'll be communicating those out to those that are enrolled in December, before winter break. We'll be communicating to those that are eligible to join the program January 2nd. But we normally communicate bus routes in August, before school begins for the normal school year. Moving forward, that's when we're going to communicate it. There's no cost for this, so we do currently charge for preschool transportation. There'll be no cost to parents. Basically, transportation is going to be under district policy. So just how kindergarten, first, second, third graders get on the bus right now, they will be going, preschoolers will also be getting on the bus. We're trying to integrate things as much as possible for the parents' benefit. So if you have a kindergartner and a preschooler, very likely they will be getting on the bus at the same time, at the same bus stop. That's our goal. It might be a little hiccupy in January because we have existing bus routes, and communicating to 1,500 parents that your bus route time is going to change. We're going to try not to do any of that. So we're going to try to integrate the preschoolers onto existing bus routes at existing stops to the best degree possible. So they'll be with kindergarten, first and second graders and third graders on the school buses. Where will they sit? Well, a lot of parents don't like putting young children onto school buses at age 3. Completely understandable. I have 4 children. My youngest is 1. So I fully understand the concerns, especially with older kids being on the bus. But we are going to have assigned seats like we normally do. The students will sit in the front. They'll sit with siblings. And we are trying our best to have another adult on the bus for at least a few weeks or a month or longer to help with the students getting on and off the bus, other than where they get to school, meaning they know where to sit, they get brought to their seat. For food, we are required under state law to provide a snack or breakfast as well as lunch to preschoolers. They recommend having food every several hours, so we have to abide by that. The school district as a whole participates in the federal national lunch program, which meets specific dietary requirements under federal law, which means that we have to provide milk, we have to provide protein, there's certain vegetable requirements and fruit requirements. We have to adhere to that for preschool students as well, because all the preschool students everywhere, whether it's private providers or in district, it's all the same. They're all Reddington Township students. So we have to abide by that. There'll be a separate menu for preschool. There'll be one menu district-wide, and we will be delivering the meals to the private providers from our kitchens in-house. Our food service provider is Mascios, and they've done a tremendous job with the food menu. When you start seeing the food menu, if you have suggestions on how to improve them, we have a parent council, a student council that reviews those things. You can send requests to me at any time, and we adjust the menu based on what kids want at the age level. So we actually have different menus depending on the building, depending on the age level, because kids like different things. Parents want to see different things, and we value that feedback. So we adjust menus throughout the school year. Future year plans. So right now, we've talked a lot about how many open spots we're gonna have, which is 105 in the first year, 95 general education. This is only for January 2nd. Those are the numbers we're talking about. That's through June. In September, that is year 2. Year 1 is only for 6 months. Year 2 starts in September. We're planning on expanding from 95 students, 105 students in total, to 195 students in September. So almost doubling our capacity. Dr. Hart mentioned that we have a little over 160 surveys responses to date. We would be able to accommodate currently, if all those were accurate, every single child that submitted a survey by September. So we currently have a lottery for selecting students. We may not need that lottery come September. Year 3, we are projected, which is not this September, the following September, to meet our full universe. What is our full universe? Our full universe is 90% of our current kindergarten enrollment. So we have a state head count, which is around 260 students. The state says you must meet this number by year 5. We're doing it by year 3. So we should be able to enroll every single child that wants to be enrolled at minimum by year 3. And how are we going to do this? So we do not have capacity in our buildings to accommodate the level of classrooms needed. White House School and Three Bridges only can handle a few classrooms. So without the help of our private providers who are up here today, we would not be able to offer preschool to all the students in Reading. So it is a great deal of effort that they're undertaking to change to accommodate all of us and all the students in Reading. And how are we going to do this? We're going to try to expand 1 or 2 classrooms each and every year at the daycare providers, as well as in-house. And you'll even see we have another partner starting in September for Global Pioneer, which is near White House Prep. Stand Learning and Berry Patch are on one side of town, White House Prep and Global Pioneer on the other side of town, which is very helpful given the size of Readington. We're going to take questions tonight, hopefully go through some answers. We may not have all the answers, but there's going to be an FAQ document on our website. We'll be posting that in the next couple of days. But we're really all available. I mean, you know, our emails, phone numbers are on the district website. You can call any of us at any time. We'll get back to you with an answer. And we're just really glad to share every bit of information we have at this time. And I turn it over back to Dr. Hart for final comments.
Sure. So I guess at this time, what we'll do is, if there's any questions that we did not answer, we will take questions from you. Jason's going to write them down. Anything we don't know, we will get back to you and we will add to that FAQ document. And here are all of our email addresses. We'll take questions maybe about 15 minutes or so of questions, and then if you want to take some time, and Brian, I see a lot of people taking pictures. I'm sorry I didn't say this. We can make this available on our website. So we'll make this available on our website. So if you want to save the space on your phone, because you're supposed to have unlimited space, but it really is limited on your phone. We will put this on our preschool website, so please check back frequently. But are there questions? Please, I will do my best to try to remember. Go ahead.
When talking about your food program with the preschoolers, is that included in the not grant, whatever?
The funding.
Yeah, the funding, or is it not?
Great, so that's a great question. Food will operate mirror to how food operates for kindergarten through 8th grade. If you have a child who is eligible for free and reduced lunch, the snack and the lunch we provide will be available to that child on the same graduated scale of either free or reduced. If your child is not eligible for free or reduced lunch, you would add money to an account through Pay Schools, and that Pay Schools account will be drawn down for every lunch and snack that they buy.
Okay.
Jason, did I get that right?
Can I have like another medium follow-up to that? So
Okay.
if you choose not to participate in that, do they bring their lunch and that's fine?
Exactly, and then they would bring their lunch just like a kindergartner or first grader would bring
Got
their
it.
lunch.
Thank you.
Good question. Yes, please. Go ahead, Stacy. yeah.
Oh, no, I was gonna share something. So with our preschool programs, the focus is on doing family-style lunches. So the children will be sitting at a big table, whether or not they're bringing their own lunch in or they're being provided. The idea is that they're sitting at a table sharing food as family style, which we will be doing in district as well as in our learning centers.
Thank you.
And that's part of the preschool philosophy.
Awesome, thank you.
So let's say our child gets selected because it's a lottery, right? There's a limited amount of space to go to Three Bridges School, but is there any possibility to like say, well, I'd rather go to White House or rather go to Berry Patch? Is there any option there, or do you just get to say, okay, if you win the lottery, then you go to this school and that's it? I understand that's okay if there is. I'm just wondering how that works.
The opportunity for parents to provide to us that priority order is on the survey that we sent out. So as we are looking to place children in different either providers or schools, we will look at your priority order and do our best to accommodate that, balancing the class size, transportation routes, and everything else that we have to balance, and special education needs versus not, and those kinds of things. So that's a parent's opportunity to say, here's my priority order. If I'm selected for the lottery, this is where I'd like to go. But the idea might be you might be selected for the lottery, but might get priority or your choice of number 2 or something.
Oh, I've got it. Thank you.
If a different spot becomes available later on in the year, we can have that conversation with you once we make those determinations first.
Thank you.
Please.
I have 2 questions. So
Okay.
one, I know that
Like
some
the
of-
kids, right? I have 2.
I have 2.
Two questions, right?
The first one, I know some of the private providers are open in the summers right now. If that will continue, I understand it might not be free, but that's question 1. And then number 2, is there like a before school hours and after school hours?
Great questions. Who else wants to know about before school and after school hours? Great, and summer. All right, so the answer is yes to both, right? So Gina, Judy, and Lisa, you will maintain your before school early drop off and your late parent pickup. So anything that you're going to do before school hours and after school hours, you can still do at all of the private providers, and they will work with you on whatever that rate is going to be. That is not included in the funding. So before school and after school care is not included in the funding. Summer care, not included in the funding. Currently, now, that's for the private providers. They're going to continue to operate the way they currently operate with before school and after school, and they will also operate summer programs like they have in the past. At White House and Three Bridges, currently, before and after care is offered by the YMCA program, and it is only for students grades kindergarten through grades 3. We've contacted the Y, we are partnering with them, and they have plans to open up a preschool only before and after care at White House and Three Bridges as well. So we are going to work with them, but that's also enrollment dependent. So, if they get 2 kids, it may not be worth it for them to fund it. So the goal is to have before and after care at White House and Three Bridges as well. If that's not possible because of low enrollment, we will allow parents, preschool students who go to White House and Three Bridges to do before and after care at Stanton Learning Center or one of the private providers, and we'll bus them over to White House and Three Bridges. Did you follow all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right. Before and after care, let's stick with that. Anything else with before and after care?
So,
Yes.
bus wise, like you would have to do pre-K before and after at that same location.
So we will not provide before or after care transportation. You will have to drop off at, let's say you want an 8 a.m. drop off, parent drops off. The school, if you drop off at White House Prep, but your preschooler goes to White House School, we will pick up at White House Prep and bring them to White House School.
And then like they after care, they take it back to the place after.
Aftercare will take them from White House School to White House Prep, and you will have to do the late pickup at White House Prep, for example. This is in the FAQ, I promise. More before and after care. Anything else with before and after care? Yes,
What's the potty training requirement? Do they have to be fully potty trained?
they do have to be fully potty trained. Yeah, work on that.
I went through it. I didn't imply it.
Yes. Yes, please, sir.
Quick question, so you may have addressed this as far as registration early on, but right now the number, you said is 160 people that did the survey, the goal is 195 students. Is there, you correct me if I'm wrong, the data that was given in the survey, is that almost like a placeholder, like your child's name, you're kind of already in some sort of system where, we do the form of registration, it's identified, that you're ready to fill the survey, I guess increasing chances of, acceptance without, even if there's a lottery that happens?
Yeah, so the survey is being used, we have 105 spots. The survey that you filled out is your initial interest. The registration, once we go through all of that and we decide that we have 105 spots, and these are the out of the 160 from the survey, here are the 105 we can enroll. Then we'll contact you to actually go through the formal registration process. So there is no other database we have. We are going off of that survey.
So the parents, will be contacted when.
Yes. So the survey doesn't close until November 3rd. We'll wait until the survey closes, and then we'll look at everything in totality and go through the list of everyone, and then we'll contact you after that.
Would be contacted through email or the phone number, I guess that's on there, probably email.
Probably a formal letter via email, like an email letter that'll be pushed out to you. I have to talk to the office staff about this too, but I also think that a formal letter, like snail mail home, is also the best way to reach you as well. Like our emails may go to your spam, and I don't want a letter like this to get lost. So we'll notify you. You have our email and you have our phone numbers after November 3rd. And please don't call every day, but like, it's like coming up to like Thanksgiving time and you've heard nothing, or like we're approaching December and you haven't heard anything, like a little check-in would be okay. So just give us a little bit of time, like there are a lot of moving parts.
Don't want us to be annoying?
What's it? It's okay, we understand you're anxious, but just give us some time. November 3rd is the closing date. We have teachers convention and some other parent-teacher conferences, some other things in there, so just give us some time to work out all of the details, all right? We'll keep going, yeah.
Okay, so I have
2 questions, I see.
One, for the program that's already in place,
Mhm.
is this time that they start going to change? So if they're gonna be on the bus, they're going to now be starting earlier, going with the rest of the school? Because right now they start at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so preschool, part-time preschool disabilities programs are now moving full-time. So if you have a
Okay.
child that's already enrolled and they go at 9 o'clock, they're gonna go full-time, but we're gonna change the hours slightly, a slight adjustment to 9:15, correct, Stacy?
So the general education preschool is going to start at 8:30, along with they will join our general ed. Those are the children who are in Mrs. Rob's class.
Yes, and her A class, yeah.
Our children who are in our preschool disabilities classrooms, which is Mrs. Cozy, Mrs. Darenheim, Mrs. Daughtro, those times will change to 9:15 in the morning.
we're still gonna offer it, I wanna make sure you know this, we're still offering the 6-hour full day. But the White House, Three Bridges, and even the private providers, they're roughly 8:35 to 3:35. Remember, in the middle of the day with our teachers, we have to give them their prep and their lunch. By starting the preschool disabilities program at 9:15, we can give the teachers prep beforehand. So it's just a matter of when we give the teacher prep. Plus that allows the transportation department to do multiple runs. We can do it that way.
And I think our focus is really with, the preschool disabilities is that the children are getting their biggest bang for their buck out of those teachers. Which teachers are getting their preps in the morning so that they are with the children all day. So it's really not, you're not missing on those hours.
Got it. And then, yeah,
Yes.
so for example, pre-K 4 right now, the program that isn't, there's 18 kids. Saying there's 15. Now say none want to leave, like how do you come up with the redistricting for that? Like at that point, is it gonna be, we're just gonna have to pick and send whoever out kind of?
It's a combination of two things. One, if there's a child right now in that classroom with 18, but they're there half a day, they may go somewhere else for the other half day, right? So when you filled out the survey, we said what locations select all that apply where your child goes to school. Well, your child, those 18 children have a spot at Three Bridges School and maybe also have a spot at White House Prep. Well, they're not gonna have both spots, so if they move to one or the other, whatever your priority preference was, that's gonna open up another spot somewhere else.
So you might split up the Reddingtons to go to White House or something, is what you're saying. Some of the students in the current Reddington program might go to White House or
Correct.
somewhere else.
Yes, that
So,
might be possible.
If there's 18 kids in Reddington right now, there's not 18 spots. So that means 6 might go to White House and 6 might go to
Right.
Berry Patch or something.
Potentially, but remember, hang on a second, remember, all parents, of 167 parents, put in what their priority order is. So if you have children that are in 2 spots, you may have to pick one, but that's gonna open up another spot somewhere else. So it's gonna be a combination of both.
I was just
So-
more wondering like what happens to the kids like that are together now? You know what I mean? Because
Like the current students that are in so let's say Mrs. Rob's class,
Mhm.
current AM
Mhm.
class. Are they going to stay in AM class at Three Bridges, or is there a possibility they're moving?
There's a possibility that they're moving.
Okay,
That's
and
a
what's the
possibility.
criteria on that? Yeah.
It's gonna be transportation,
It's gonna be it's
location,
gonna
where
be
you
also
live,
parent
White House side of
request.
town, Three
Yes.
Bridges side of town, and what you filled out in the survey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
But with that, knowing though that the children that are children with IEPs, their services will continue whether or not they're at White House School or at Three Bridges School.
And I'll just add to that Three Bridges is on one side of town and White House is on the other. And a lot of our transportation currently brings students from White House side of town all the way to Three Bridges. So I anticipate that there's going to be a significant amount of students that prefer White House or White House area for commuting purposes and location to their house.
we were just like, you know, we live on the Three Bridges side of town, like, and no one wants to leave, like, food, like.
Like, that's where we're eventually going.
Right.
But look,
Very
if something happens, we will do our best to accommodate the best we can. Once you get your letter of the decision, if there's something that we can work out, let us know, and maybe that can happen, but what the difficulty is gonna be transportation as well as all of the other kind of moving parts.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question around that. So my daughter goes to White House.
Mhm.
So as my son, hopefully they get into this program, are they gonna try to keep the siblings together at the same school or gonna try?
So when we asked you on the survey whether or
Yeah.
not your child has a sibling.
Yeah.
And that's really up to like your priority order when you selected your priority order.
Right.
I think it stands to reason that if you have a kindergarten child at White House School and you have a kindergartner at White House Prep, you may want to take a spot at White House School, and that'll open up a spot at White House Prep for another enrollment of another child. So I think keeping siblings together is important, and then that's probably something you ranked in your priority order. Like if you have a White House child, you might have clicked White House School and said you had a sibling there. So that's what we're gonna try to consider. Our goal is to fill all 105 spots with the least disruption to your child's educational program. Will there be disruption? Yes, because we're opening 2 brand new classrooms at White House School So there are students that are going to have to move, but we recognize that we don't want a 3 or 4-year-old to really be that disruptive. So to the extent we can not disrupt a child's learning, we will. That's the goal, but we know that we are going to have to move students in order to fill all of the seats. That's definitely going to be possible. Let's keep going. Yes?
For kids with IEPs,
Mhm.
because right now, as you mentioned, in the split day program, right? Some of these children are in self-contained classroom for 2.5 hours. That's a fundamental change to the IEP to move that child who may be functioning well in the other environment for 6 days of self-contained. Is there still enough time to reevaluate that child's placement for integration into one of the other programs?
Yes.
Okay.
And also know that an IEP drives any program. So if a child with an IEP is not ready for a full day program, that IEP can drive the fact that that child still requires a partial day program. So know that. IEPs trump everything. Like, I got the magic wand here, but yes, so that, yeah, children who are in the preschool disabilities program are always looked at. We always want children to be in the least restrictive environment. At the same time, at our Three Bridges School, where our preschool disabilities program is located, we also do have a general education program there. So there will always be spaces available for that opportunity for transition.
Yes, sir. Keep going.
2 questions. One is primarily, I understand there's going to be an increase in the number of students in each classroom, right? Like Mrs. Rob's class does not have 15 children in it right now, right? It's
Right.
less.
Yeah,
You
combine
nine.
the AM and the PM.
PM.
It'll be more.
In the PM.
Because it's only going to be one full day.
Agreed.
Right.
But my question is, the kids are going to be in a classroom with more children. Are there going to be any staffing changes at the teacher aid level?
So for every classroom, we will have one certificated teacher and one paraprofessional in every classroom of 15. That's the requirement. So that will be, I don't know if that's a change. I don't think it's a change. I think that's pretty
We
consistent.
can still
That's
have,
everyone.
currently we can have 15 in Mrs. Rob's AM or PM class.
Okay.
It is the district's choice to limit that because we have an AM and PM. So regardless, we are still compliant with code
Okay.
regarding the number of children and or staffing in the classroom.
And I'll just add to that, if an IEP required an additional paraprofessional shared or otherwise, we would also need that in addition to the one teacher and one para. So there will be classrooms that potentially may have several paraprofessionals.
Speech or whatever you.
Yeah.
Okay. And segue to that, from relatively new to the area, how does the allocation among schools work when we move on to kindergarten, first grade, et cetera? Is there a survey or is it more location based?
So placement of a child once they reach kindergarten age will be based off of our district lines in terms of what neighborhoods go to Three Bridges and what neighborhoods go to White House School. So that's a line that we have drawn in terms of how we district our students for K-3. The only exception to that would be a child with an IEP that maybe needs a specialized program. So, for example, right now, our kindergarten through 3rd grade autism program is only at White House School. So even if your child, you could live right next to Three Bridges School, but if your child required that program, we would offer you that program at White House School where that autism program is. Otherwise, school assignments are school assignments that are done by the district and by geographic location
Okay,
for
thank you.
transportation purposes. Yes,
First of all, congratulations. I know how difficult it is to get grant.
Thank you.
Or funding. You said this is not a grant, it's actually part of our formula now for our state aid. So unless there's a change in the state in the way they distribute the formula for state aid, it will remain intact. Is that, am I correct?
yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, it actually will, there's 2 lines on the state aid formula. It will show up on that formula.
Right.
So it will be there in perpetuity, and based on reporting that we have to provide from our district, that will scale up or scale down depending on the student count. because that's the driver of the state aid formula. However, there are times that state administration changes and priorities change, and the state governs how much state aid they give out.
Right.
But we would still have our allocation based on our student head count. So once we got our foot in the door, and now we should have it for a period of time until the state potentially changes its mind.
And what form of teacher evaluation system do you use? Danielson or?
Danielson, yeah, we use the Danielson.
And that evaluation tool will be used in district as well as with our learning centers.
All the way in the back. Hi.
So I actually found out about this my person, like through this now, so I wasn't given a survey. How does the survey go out? Should I be on the list? On the list somewhere?
Yep. Great questions. The survey is on our website and it's still open, so you can go onto our website and find it. In order to get the most parents here tonight and offer preschool to as many children as possible, the following avenues have been used. We've used our internal Genesis system to blast out a message. We have created the lawn signs that you see that are around the township at the private providers that have a QR code that brings you right to our district website. We posted it on our Facebook page for the district. We also provided it to the township, Reddington Township Community Board, and they posted it on their Facebook page as well. And I know that parents and community members out there have been posting on Facebook pages to try to get out to as many people as possible. Yeah. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yes, please.
Regarding transportation with the buses, is there a size minimum or something before, like, do they need a car seat, are they on the benches, like, how does that work with children who are potentially so small? My 3-year-old is 30 pounds, like, how does that work safety-wise on the bus?
Good, Jason.
Yeah, so currently, we have preschoolers on our 54-passenger buses. The buses are designed in such a manner that basically the car seat, the seat in front of them is padded and acts in a manner that is safe for children. That's why you don't see a lot of car seats on school buses, but you see car seats in every personal vehicle because there's a design difference. Airbags are in personal vehicles versus school buses. So they're designed in such a way to reduce the safety impact to little children.
Is there a size minimum of that safety, or is it?
There is none that we're aware of. So the surrounding area, Branchburg, other districts that have preschool aid currently transport on 54-passenger vehicles without car seats. But if you have a concern with that, you may want to select an option where you can drop off to a private provider before or after, or drive your child in. We have probably 30% or more of our parents drive in their kids every single day, no matter what. So it's a parent preference based on the size of their child or just the general preference. But they will be on 54-passenger vehicles. There's also a bus driver shortage, as well as a vehicle costs $160,000. So for us to be able to provide transportation on vans with car seats would be impossible. It would be financially impossible, physically impossible, and staffing impossible. So.
Questions? Yes, please.
If we have a 3-year-old that gets in with the lottery this year, will they be guaranteed a spot next year?
I mean, we're moving from 105 seats to 195. My inclination is to give you a tentative but very strong yes. But I'm going to call it tentative.
Okay.
Because and that's our goal. That's why we prioritize 4-year-olds, because we want to try to get students right as they're getting into kindergarten, priority. But I don't see an opportunity where we would disrupt instruction from a 3-year-old moving into a 4-year-old program, especially with our expansion plans. Miss, all the way in the back, I know that you've had your hand up, and then we'll work our way forward. Yeah.
For the future years, do you have a plan to do a similar survey, like to understand the future needs?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
we look at communication about that, in a timely manner.
Pardon me?
We look at communication about that in a timely manner.
Yeah, I think Yeah, okay, so, remember, we just got notified like a week ago, right? We were supposed to know on September 8th, which is still terrible timing, but we know that we're planning, in fact, next year's application is due next month, right? So we'll know well in advance about whether or not we get the funding for the 195 students for next year earlier. I believe that we will have enough advanced planning time for us to do kindergarten and preschool registration in late February together, all at once, so we can be ready for September 2024. Okay?
And that's one more question.
Yeah.
Because I know you're kind of right in between every building is, in terms of like hiring the teachers, is last, have they been hired, how is that?
We posted, before we got the funding, we posted anticipated openings pending being awarded the funding. We've already been in the process of interviewing the staff that we required for the program. So we posted for positions before we knew we had the funding in anticipation we would get it. So Stacy's actually been running rounds of interviews already this week for staff. Yes. Yes, you.
Okay, you mentioned that, lots of children who have priority are 4 years old or are currently enrolled, or, do you know what that number is in comparison to, you said 165 people filled out the survey?
Yeah.
A lot of the people that filled out the survey might not even qualify. So how many people would basically qualify if they're already 4 years old or already enrolled in school? Do you have that number?
I don't know yet. No, I don't have that number. Sorry. But we will, hopefully we'll get that through the survey once it closes. Yes.
If they have a late summer birthday,
Mhm.
are they, would they be expected to go to kindergarten at 5 years old then instead of waiting the following year?
So I'll say that best practice that we received from the state is that, even if they're a late summer birthday, retaining students is not best practice in preschool. But we'll coordinate and talk with parents to make decisions that are best for children. Yes.
So, for example, my son he didn't make the date, the birthday date.
Yeah.
So for learning centers, is it okay that he's on Pine Tree at 3?
If he's not in the program. Yeah, if he's not in the program, yeah. So it starts at 2.5.
So if I enroll him into a learning center program, does that guarantee him a spot next year?
When does he turn 4?
Next week. No, he turns 3 next week.
3 next week, okay, so then,
So he'll be in a learning center.
so he would be a 3-year-old in a learning center for next year. I would say come February, we send out the survey again, fill it out again, so we make sure we put your son in on our survey, so that we can look at him in terms of his eligibility. Is he in a learning center right now?
He is.
Okay. Fill out the survey again in February, and then what we'll do is we'll do the same process again in February for September.
And do the learning centers participate with the same meal plan, with the same?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they do. Yes.
I'm interested in being on the parent advisory group. Where can we get more information about that and when?
All we need you to do right now is if you fill out the survey, just say yes, you're interested, and Stacy's gonna start coordinating the parent advisors group, and that's gonna be really important for, strengthening the program throughout the year.
Okay, and is that gonna be like an evening meeting or is that gonna be during work hours?
Oh, we will be very flexible. We will also be working with the early learning centers, so, and oftentimes I find that our parent meetings have been well attended if we do virtual versus in person. It just is a little bit, I like in person, but we get more the virtual. So that will be something that the advisory will come up with, whether or not it be in person or virtual, day or night. So, yes, we'll get your name.
Thank you.
I see 2 more hands, let's take 2 more questions, and then we can, yes, Miss, all the way in the back.
How do we guys like work on before and after? Like, I know not in school, it's separated. How does that happen?
So what I would do is, my best advice would be, let's wait and make placement decisions for children in terms of where their placement would be and then contact that direct private provider, or if in district, it would be the YMCA. So it's sort of, before and after care is going to be dependent on where your child is located. It's either going to be through the learning center or through the YMCA, so it's best to wait to see that placement first, and then we'll give you the contact information of the Y and the learning center.
Right now, 8:30 to 3, or will be 8:30.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
I have kind of 1.5 questions. Going back to the student.
Not
versus-
2, just 1.
1.5. So going back to the teacher to student ratio specifically for Three Bridges. Currently, we have the certified teacher, Mrs. Robb, and then we also have 2 aides in that class for the 8 students. Once we integrate into a full day and a full classroom, and I believe you said the IEP students will also be integrated into that classroom?
I don't know if it's that classroom,
Or
but
they're gonna have their own, but so we're gonna have 1 certified teacher and 1 aide for a classroom with general education and IEP?
That's correct. So that classroom is considered a general education classroom.
Okay, and it'll still be also IEP children and the aide plus the certified teacher, we think will be enough?
Correct. So yes, so that classroom is considered integrated is actually not an appropriate word. The county supervisor would say that's not the
Apologies.
program.
we call
It
it
is,
that.
it's a general education classroom that have general education students as well as children with IEPs.
Okay.
If any of those children require additional an additional aid support, that would be put in. But under code, it is a general education teacher and 1 paraprofessional.
Okay, and then additional support will be provided if there's an IEP.
If it is in a child's IEP.
Okay, got it, perfect. And then, my
Half a
my
question.
half a question is, are we integrating the young 3-year-olds with the children that are 4 almost going into kindergarten in the same classroom? Are they all considered preschool, or are we going to separate them based on kind of more of a developmental age?
Want me to start?
Go ahead.
I think for this year, we'll go back to the building the plane while it flies.
Okay.
I think this year, because there are so many moving parts, I think we're gonna have to build the plane the best we can while we're flying. And I think, given all of the needs, your priority preferences, location in town, transportation needs, student IEPs, current placement that we're trying not to disrupt of kids that already exist in programs.
Lots of balls in the air.
Lots of things. I
Got
think that all of those priorities, by the time we get to the list, integrating 3 and 4-year-olds, I think might have to happen this year.
Okay, got it.
In future years, we can plan a little bit differently.
Okay, awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Lisa, Judy, Gina, final thoughts from the private providers, anything you want to share or say this evening? Or just be excited, somebody?
I just want to say that this is the most wonderful opportunity. I'm so glad to be a part of all of this. Having been in this field of early childhood for 36 years, I taught kindergarten for a long time, and now having my school and working with preschoolers, this is what you all deserve. This is wonderful. We are very lucky to have Jonathan and his staff and having them support all of this for you. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and White House Prep is a great place, and I'm glad to be able to share the programs we have with all of you.
Thanks, Gina. Gina, Lisa, anything additional to add?
I'll piggyback on what Judy said. It's really very exciting, and Stanton Learning Center 2 is a wonderful place, and we're so excited to be able to partner with all of you and have this being rolled out. It's really an interesting and fun and exciting new step and journey in the realm of early childhood education. So I'm excited to be a part of it and to share it with you guys.
And I just want to say, the Berry Patch, we work a lot with Three Bridges now. We have children that get bused for the classes. And it's just going to be a great opportunity for us to provide it in-house and provide parents the opportunity to have care and aftercare and summer care and when school calendar, conflicts with work. So we look forward to being part of this and happy news. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. What we'll do is we will stay, the cookies will stay. Take them, and the water. Feel free to just come up, introduce yourself. You can talk to any one of us. The private providers have some handouts. They can share with you any information you might want to see from them, and you're free to go. If there's any more questions, you can find us online. This presentation will be
I have a question for you guys. So like, let's say my son goes to Reading Elementary School, and then like, right, I have a daughter who's 4, so I assume she's probably in a spot. But when summer comes around, do you guys have like summer programs that's like, because obviously like the kids that are in my daughter comes to Reading. Also, summer is usually like a lower.
Summer is definitely a lower enrollment than the regular school year, so there's adults to be fun, there's general, I mean, there's always
Because the kids, usually their parents take the kids out in the summer.
Yeah, there's parents yeah, they vacation, all of that kind of stuff, and the way we actually run these parents sign up, some parents sign up for 2 weeks, some parents sign up for 3, you know, at the beginning of the year, so
That's what they got. My daughter goes to the daughter's school. I guess they were right there. It's probably a nationwide thing, so it's hard to know.
Yeah.
We're saying it's probably pretty easy to find a summer program. When will it end? When is it end?
1 day, 2 days, everything.
You know,